people, and welcome back to Her Blueprints podcast, where we share stories from women engineering tomorrow. And I've got another guest here with me today, and as always, I love to let them introduce themselves. Emily, thank you so much for saying yes to the podcast. I know how intimidating it can be sometimes. And quite often when I ask people to come to a podcast, they'll say, oh, I don't have enough experience. Oh, I don't know if I have a story. But that's not really what the podcast is about. We are just trying to showcase the different women in engineering and get a sense of what they do, what they enjoy, why they chose it. And I'm so honored that you accepted my invite. So thanks for coming.
That's so good. I think I'm going to be one of the ones with the less interesting story, but we'll see.
No, you shouldn't say that. I think everyone has a story. Maybe just kind of a sort of icebreaker. The first time that I was hosted in a podcast, I was at uni, and I think I was in first year, and I was like, no. And it was kind of a sort of serious podcast. And I was like, I don't think I have a story. And the way the person talked me into it, they were like everyone has a story. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey. You might you might look back on it a few years from now, and you're like, oh my God, I was so dumb and naive and young. But I mean, you are, you're still young and all that stuff. So that's how they talked me into it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've got something that someone might resonate with, and I think a lot of times that's worth sharing if people are willing to share. So tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and what you've been up to.
So my name's Emily Cocker. I'm a chemical and bioprocessing engineer from UQ, but I work as a process engineer at Engeni for the water transfer systems team, or the water transfer squad, which is a cooler name for us. I don't really know what's really interesting about myself. I'm 24. I'm from Townsville, but moved to Brisbane when I was 17. And I've been living here for the last 6 years. Come from a big family, but yeah, I don't really know what's interesting about myself. But yeah.
I hope this doesn't sound very dumb, but I've always wondered what chemical engineers do. Because I think I have I did civil, so I know what civil engineers do. And I'm like, what do chemical engineers do?
That is not a dumb question. Chemical engineers can do so many things. Because, we could be on the mines. It could be a process engineers where you're just looking at pipes and pumps, which is what I do. Mm-hmm. You could work in pharmacies, in the bioprocessing sections, which is what I kind of wanted to do. And it's so broad, and it kind of goes over a lot of civil and mechanical things. So you'll see us in a lot of different industries. So it's such a broad type of engineering to go into. So yeah.
Okay. If we are to backtrack a bit to kind of understand where you think your genesis is in terms of where engineering journey started, is this something that you've always known that you wanted to do, or is it something that kind of just popped up along the way? Tell me a bit about how you got into it.
I never thought I'd be an engineer when I was younger. I loved solving puzzles, and I really wanted to be an inventor, but that was not something that I actually considered going into. And it wasn't until high school, when we did biology, that we did a segment on genetically modified organisms, that I found it really fascinating. And I was like, oh, this would be something cool to do. So when we were looking for careers, universities to start signing up for in degrees, I was looking at biomedical, science. And I was like, oh, scientist, that's cool, but I don't love the title.
Yeah.
So then I found out about biomedical engineers. And I was like, oh, engineer, that's a cool name. I didn't realize how many engineers there were, in my life, but I just didn't know what engineering was then. So I kind of took a leap. Not a lot of people, I wasn't the best uni student or high school student. I wasn't very academic. I was smart, but I never really put in much effort. So for me to actually say I want to do engineering and then start working towards it, it was a very big change for me. But yeah, I somehow got into engineering at UQ, and there was a lot of ups and downs in that, but that was like the beginning of my career there, was actually deciding to do that, which again, never thought I would as a kid.
Walk me through some of those ups and downs.
Oh God, first semester, university, moved to a city. I had spent 6 months saving up money after I graduated high school. I was working full-time in a cafe. So I started uni mid-year, on the mid-year entry program. Moved here, didn't know what a bond was, didn't know what a rental, like what that really required. Ended up crashing with my best friend's auntie for about 2 months. Finally found a place, way over budget, couldn't find a job, was doing 4 subjects, so overloaded with uni because it's a lot of, you've got to go to class and you've got to make the decision to study, where I was so used to the structure of high school, but they gave you time to do that. That it was such a big change there. I think first semester, I went from 4 subjects down to 2. Cried to my mum in the last week 10 of exams, just being like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she's just like, just stick with it, you can do it. So yeah, went down to 2 subjects. Next semester, was doing better, had a job. So this is semester 1 of next year. Finally found a job that was somewhat stable. Had a better housing situation, which is a bit cheaper. Again, tried to do 4 subjects and again went down to 3, ended up dropping 1 again. And that kind of continued a bit throughout the year. I think there was only 2 semesters that I ended up doing 4 subjects successfully. But yeah, so I was just kind of like, it was just, for me, it was a bit of a struggle to get into that routine of studying and keeping up with things. And I wanted to say I got better. Don't know if I could say I did, but I ended up passing and graduating, so that's something.
Definitely. You mentioned something about crying to your mama and her saying that, stick with it. And quite often I find that that's a recurring theme when it comes to engineering. People think, you need to be so smart, but you kind of need to be willing to do things over and over again. We can talk a bit about the start of your career after uni, and on this journey of you kind of sticking with it, where you started out and the kind of stuff that you were working on. Was it what you expected, or was that also so drastically different from uni and then joining the workforce?
So before I graduated uni, I had 2 internships. I had one at Eloise Copper Mine, which I was basically a lab tech, but they said I was a mill engineer. And then I had another one at Fife as a consultant, which is similar to what I'm doing now, though that was working more on post-construction stuff. And this is what I do now, is more design and to construction, which is very different from what I was doing at Fife, but it's a lot more interesting. So what I did at uni was, as a bioprocess engineer, a lot of lab stuff. I was doing DNA sequencing. I was looking at processes for biorefineries, and now I move water, which is actually similar in some things, in some ways, and very important for both things. But yeah.
How are they similar?
So when you move water, and you got to consider velocity factors, pipe sizes and all that, as well as if there's any chemicals in it and how that interacts with the pipe. In bioprocessing, because you have cells in it, if the velocity is too high or there's too much stress between the pipe and the water, you can actually kill the cells, which is what you don't want to do, because that's generally what your byproducts of created from. So the systems, it's a bit more gentler on the biorefinery, but it's just as important to be able to move things around safely.
Okay. When you say cell, do you mean something that's kind of alive, or do you mean like compartments?
Oh, like organisms, alive things, because you gotta produce bioproducts from that, like ethanol, such as like that. So
And then, like after your internships, what did you do after that?
So I generally went back working to the cafes that I worked on campus. In my last semester, the cafe I was working at, I was just coming home way too stressed. I was coming home tired and angry and not being able to focus, so I decided to try and get Centrelink, which I was fortunate enough to do to get in my last semester and then quit my job. Best and worst decision I made, I won't lie. Living on such a short amount of money was not great, but as well as my job kind of was my break from uni. And I didn't schedule anything to replace that break from uni. So it was just constant uni, 24/7. In my last semester, doing my thesis, I think I drove myself mad and my partner mad.
And how did you end up in engineering, which is now Egis?
So I found, my partner helped me look for jobs, and we found it on LinkedIn. And I was just applying for everything and anything because after my last semester, I was burnt out. I was feeling very behind everyone because everyone had a job lined up after uni. Everyone was graduating, going into their jobs, and I was going back home to Townsville because I had nothing lined up. I wasn't prepared. And so I think I spent 3 months looking for jobs, going through interviews, getting rejected, just just feeling just terrible about myself. And Jenny got back to me, and they actually said no to me first time. It was kind of funny. I went through all these processes with them, and I actually got a no. And then about 4 weeks later, they called me up again, saying that the position was actually open again, and they'd like to interview me again for it. And then I went in and got the job, which was
the second time was the charm.
Yeah, second time's always the charm.
Okay. And what do you think you learned from like those experiences?
Just persistence.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you really just gotta either throw something at the wall, see what sticks, and always just like follow up emails.
Yeah.
Anytime someone interviews you, send them an email, be like, thank you so much for your time. And ask for feedback as well. That's a big thing. I think that's what helped them contact me the second time, because what happened was the recruiter at Jenny, when he called me up and he said, I'm so sorry you're not getting the job, my father pushed me. He was like, send them an email, ask for feedback. I did, and then I actually got a mentoring lesson out of it. He was so kind to do a one-on-one on me, give me a mentoring lesson, and then I kind of took that advice, and when they called me up again, I like...
You knew what to do.
I knew what to do. So,
Given, like, looking back now, what are things that you wish you knew, like, at the start of your engineering journey? Like, first semester?
I wish I was less harsh on myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I think everyone just puts it on themselves to finish the degree in the 4 years they're given, or 5, depending on what you're doing. And they see other people around them succeeding more, you know, getting better grades than them, doing the internships. And you've really just got to be accepting to yourself and, like, not being so harsh. At the same time, I wish I was just better focused. Like, I could have been a bit more disciplined with myself at the same time. Like, go to the lectures, go to the tutorials. Some days I just took the easy way out and stayed at home. Didn't really do anything progressive, like, you know, productive with my time. So I could have been a bit more structured with myself at the same time. But then I was way too harsh on myself when it came to other things. So it was kind of like finding the balance of it. So,
Yeah. I want to put my foot down on something that you said, and that was something about, you know, when you look around you and everyone seems to be moving at a faster pace than you are. What do you think it is about that messes with our minds? Or why do you think people look around and they're like, oh, I think I'm falling short on metrics that are not really there, right?
I think the biggest thing about other people's success is that you only see the good that they're doing. You don't see any of the issues they're experiencing. You don't see their rejection letters. You don't see them crying to their mums. Or you see, and then it's that whole thing of like the reflection you see of yourself is always way harsher.
Yeah.
Like you're always criticizing yourself. You're always putting yourself down. Like you don't really see someone building themselves up, especially when they're feeling low about themselves. So it's easy when you see only the good in someone else that you can make yourself feel bad because you don't see the good of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's just that comparison. You're not looking at yourself like a third person. So I think that's what I think the biggest thing is not feeling. It's easy to feel behind someone.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you deal with imposter syndrome?
Yes. In so many ways, not just in engineering. I've had, like going through uni, I had so many people peer review me as with ADHD or dyslexia. And so I was like, oh, I'll get tested. And then I never would because I would have like this imposter syndrome of like, if I get tested and they say, and they throw the big no in my face and reject me, what am I going to do? Like that kind of was like a lifeline to me to be like, oh, I'm not good at this because of this thing. Because I got all this peer review saying I have ADHD dyslexia. And then if I do get it reviewed and I'm not, then what issue? But how am I failing? Like, what's the excuse of why I'm failing if it's not these things, you know?
Yeah.
I did end up going through uni and doing, I like to call it like a little preliminary assessment of it. So I went through the university and I was basically someone's thesis of like, they tested me for my concerns. And they did come back with ADHD and dyslexia, which is hilarious. But again, that's not proper. So I do have to, if I want to, I have to go to a professional and get that tested. But yeah.
And like, how do you think you try to kind of handle it or kind of bring yourself back to, yeah, I've got this. You know, I'm doing it every day. I can do it some more. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've really got to thank like my family and my partner and my friends for really like trying to engage me. So they like would see I really need to do something and they would be like, all right, let's go sit down together. Let's study together. Let's aim for a goal today to get it done, especially when like I needed it done. But it's also a thing of like, I feared failing so badly that all-nighters were my best friends before it was due. Like it was that stress of like, oh, I'll do it later. And then later is 2:00 in the morning, having a Red Bull, handing in at 6 a.m. and going to sleep for 4 hours.
Yeah. I remember those days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took way too many Red Bulls.
Yeah.
At uni.
The amount of caffeine we consume is concerning, is it not?
Yeah. So it sounds like you, like despite all the challenges, right? Like you enjoy what you do.
I do. And I'm very glad I stuck with it. My mentality like throughout uni was just keep trying. And if I fail, I fail. Like it's, if I have one really bad semester and that's going to be the end of engineering, I just let that be. But it was more of a thing, I was like, I don't know what else to do other than engineering. I had no backup plans. So it was very much like the motivation of keep going. And I'm glad I did because I do enjoy what I do now.
What are some of like your core personalities that you think you bring into engineering or that kind of align well with the kind of work you do?
I mean, my personality, people tell me, is very positive, very enthusiastic.
Awesome.
and annoyingly so, I think sometimes. I think I just like to try. Like I love learning new things. I love trying new things, doing something different, trying to figure out the puzzle. Like again, I love puzzles. So with like design, you have to figure out from, you have this point A, you have point B, and you've got to figure out how to get there. And that itself is a puzzle, which I like to figure out. So it does work out well with my personality in that.
Talk to me about a recent project that you really enjoyed doing or that you're proud of or
So I had to design this sewage treatment plant dump point. So it's about sewage. It's so much fun. But that was kind of cool in the sense that there was this truck and they needed to like dump a load. However, it wasn't going into the treatment plant as it was, and it was causing disruption in the area. So they needed to create this pump station, which the truck could come up, unload, and the pump station would put it into the circulation of the treatment plant. It was very interesting for me because I had to design where the truck would go, how it would connect, where the tank should go, the pumps, the pipes. I had to size them. They're fun. Cut that out. And it was just kind of cool to see because I was there at the beginning. It was one of my first projects that I kind of was the main engineer for it. Like I had my supervisor who was helping with it and checking everything, but I was kind of leading it. And that was like my first big one. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. And we're in like the final stages of it now, going to IFT, so issue for tender.
awesome.
So like it'll be really, I'm really intrigued to see where it goes from here and what the customer's going to do, and if it goes to construction, which if it does, I can say, hey, I designed this. Like, that's me.
Awesome. Tell me a bit about some of the challenges on some of the projects that you've worked on.
So and Jenny, some of the projects I've worked on, the biggest challenge is when there is a change of the terrain or the dam that we're going to be dewatering. Because if you size a pipeline and a pipe for a certain flow rate, and then they come back to you and they're like, oh no, we're actually trying to increase it, it changes everything. So it's very kind of harsh going back to the people and being like, oh, what we've designed for you no longer works. And you've got to get these reasonings, and sometimes they don't like what you say. So it's definitely building up on that. But if you mean more of like in uni, like kind of challenges or
Whatever.
I get when you said projects, I was like, oh my god, which one did I mention specifically? Well, at uni, the group projects.
Well, you mentioned the dump point thingy.
Oh yes, true. Oh god, there was one issue on that. It was completely my fault and very embarrassing. I had miscommunicated with a supplier about a possibility of a pump. So there's these types of pumps which are submersible macerating pumps, which is just a pump with a blade on it that can cut up things. From my understanding of what he did, we could dry mount it. And so we had designed this pump station all about dry mounting, which is outside of the tank, this submersible pump. And then it came to telling the client, and we had told the client this, and then it actually came to sizing the pump and talking to the vendors. And they actually went, no, you can't do this. So, your face says it all. So I kind of had to go back to my principal engineer and I was like, hey, everything I just said to you and that the client really liked the idea of, we can't do it. And so we were just kind of rushing around trying to find a pump that could be outside of the tank was the main thing, because they just didn't want the pump to be submersed in sewage. So we just had to find a pump that had a macerator that could be placed outside of the tank. And thankfully we did, but it just felt so embarrassing. That miscommunication. And so I kind of had to learn from that what kind of to ask for from vendors and what to discuss and what to check and see what's actually possible, because I don't want that happening again.
I also think people need to hear more that quite often you're not going to do something perfectly the first time and you're going to make so many mistakes, and it's about even like that willingness to just be like, hey, oh, this is not right, let's fix it, right? Let's not dwell on the fact that it's messed up and stuff like that. I like to also ask people about work culture and if you feel like you're kind of balancing things, because I think I was asking you earlier if you stay back like to get stuff done. Talk to me a bit about that.
So first of all, the team I have is really lovely. I understand from my friends that their teams aren't as nice, so got to give credit to my team for being so kind to me and so understanding about me being a grad and me not fully knowing everything yet because I'm new. So me staying back is just more of like how my sense of ownership of the work kind of thing. Like I just want to be transparent with my employee that I'm getting the work done, that I'm not wasting time and all of this on the project. And that's just more about like my personality of doing things. I could just do the 7.6 hours, but I know I'm pretty chatty at work. I love talking to people, discussing things, going off topic all the time. So it's more of like I get to work, I want this done today, and I won't stay back more than an hour. And in that way I can just feel like when I put my timesheets in and I charge it to the client, what I'm charging feels correct to me. Like I can be like, if they ask me why I've charged 3 hours, I can be like, I've done all this. It actually took me 4, but they don't need to know that.
I'm not trying to like demonize staying back or anything like that. I just like to speak honestly about the subject because usually when I'm talking to someone who is like much older than me, life-work balance kind of makes sense because like maybe now you have a family or you have kids and the dynamic is now like entirely different. Your priorities have kind of shifted. And quite often the story is that when you're starting out, you put in so much extra work, even work that you might not charge, I guess, even though you know you're putting in the work. And I was talking to Meg about this and I was like, look, like sometimes I'll be like the software is new and I'll take some time off the weekend to try and put in a few extra hours just to play around with it and stuff like that, just to make sure I can get to a point where, because like, of course I'm a grad, like I don't know much. And and sometimes people go, oh, like you're not supposed to be doing that and stuff, but like if you're not doing that now, like when are you gonna do it? It's kind of like work-life balance makes sense for people who have like are at a certain level. And like when you're just starting out, like you put in a lot more work. And like you said, sometimes you're just being honest with yourself because you took like a coffee break of like an hour. Which I've been guilty of doing sometimes, but like I'll just try and make sure, like I'm adding things up and I keep this daily log thing that I learned from Meg to like know where my time is actually going and where I'm spending it and stuff like that. Let's talk a bit about your experience as a woman in the engineering field. Because I know there's not many of us. Is that something that you feel is real or not? It's in chemical engineering at UQ, it is majority female. Like that's kind of the lovely thing. I know it's like 60-40. Never had that. What?
Yeah, I know. But honestly, when you get but with my experiences in the internships, it can be really different.
Yeah.
At the copper mine, hardly any women. I was very lucky that when I was working there was the 2 women who were higher up. So I did feel very comfortable there. But all the mill workers, most of the truck drivers were all male.
Yeah.
And I was very thankful that when I did that internship, I was with 3 of my very close mates who were boys. So if I had any issues, I could go talk to them. And there were issues. There were older guys hitting on me. I got called a delicate little flower for saying no to a man 30 years older than me for not giving him my Snapchat. Like, it's very different in all different sides. Like, but then there were so lovely people there as well. Like, there was a guy there, we would just talk about his grandkids all the time. And he would be he would push me to go around the mill, like follow all the pipes, see where they go, try and figure out the system myself, and then come back to him and ask questions. Like, there's not all bad people there and all good people, but it's a mix. And I think it's just who you surround yourself with is the main thing. In my consulting jobs, a lot more females, a lot more comfortable, obviously.
Yeah.
You're generally in the city, and the culture there towards women is a lot better. And you're more comfortable because it's your home turf. The guys there were so lovely, and the women there, like, so good to talk to. And so, yeah. But then at uni, I feel like I felt the most criticized from guys, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, I remember telling one of my guy mates I got the job at 5, and he's like, "Oh, you got it because you're a woman." I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "They're trying to, just get women on the program." And I was like, "Is my credibility not good enough that my gender has to come into me getting the job?" So I was very offended by that. But other than, like, being in chemical engineering, a lot of women, like, I think majority of my friends there were girls, which was lovely to experience. So, yeah. But it's everyone's, like, interpretation of it. So experiences are different.
And what would you say to someone that's kind of like young and starting out?
Be optimistic about things.
Yeah.
Like, if you go somewhere and you don't enjoy it, go somewhere else. Like, you're not stuck somewhere. It's always your choice. Like, I knew after the mines experience, I'm never going to go mines. But at least, like, have that experience that you can be comfortable making that decision in the future. Like, never turn down something because you're scared of an experience there. Like, you've got to do it, make that decision, and then follow through on it, kind of such.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We're gonna go into a bunch of different questions that you may answer, whether it's like a short version or a longer version, whatever you prefer. And we'll start with the best piece of advice that you've ever received.
That's from my dad, which was when I was young. I wasn't a very academic student, but report cards back then had 2 columns, which was your grade for the class and the grade for your effort. And he said, as long as effort is A, I don't care what grade you get. And that's kind of like what I've been trying to do for, like, everything is, as long as I put in the amount of effort I can put in. Like, if I have 10% effort, I put in 10%. And if I have 100, I put in 100. As long as I put in as much effort as I can, I should be proud of the result I get, no matter what it is.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And coincidentally, I do this thing where I'm like, I have like a year for the word, like a word for the year. Yeah, for the word. And my word for this year is effort. And I'm like, I just want to feel like I'm consistently doing everything I can do to get things done to, like, the best of my ability. And so I actually really resonate with that.
Yeah.
What's a common engineering myth or stereotype that you'd love to debunk?
That all engineering guys smell bad. I can't speak for softwares, but mechanical guys don't smell that bad.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. What's a hobby or skill that you have that most people wouldn't expect?
I'm not a bad artist. Like, I'm pretty good at drawing. I don't know if that I look like I'm a pretty good drawer.
Yeah.
I used to do dance as a kid. Please, when I play dance, I'm really bad at it. But, like, I used to do hip hop, which, cringing inside. Yeah. I used to love step up movies, okay?
Yeah, I love those.
So good. Yeah. Moose.
And what's your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
Generally, like, either just switching off with a TV show or a book.
Okay.
Like, if I've had a bad day, I just don't want to be in the world anymore. So I like to just put myself in a different one.
Yeah.
And then just kind of forget about my issues.
What's a recent book or TV show that you?
Oh, Interview with the Vampire.
I've been like, it keeps popping up in my like recommended stuff.
Yeah.
But I haven't actually watched it.
No.
Would you recommend?
Yeah, no, I literally woke up this morning and I was like, oh, I've got to go do my hair. And then I just put the TV show on and I was like, no, this is terrible. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
So I watched an episode instead of getting ready and I was like, probably why my hair looks bad. But
No, it doesn't. And is there an engineering field that you kind of admire but haven't worked in?
I don't understand electrical engineers at all, like what they do. So it'd be kind of cool to understand what they do.
That's me and chemical engineering.
Yeah. Well, you don't look at the bonds, like what? No, yeah, chemical engineering, it's so funny because like you learn all about like these bonds and these covalent bonds, and then you like me, you just do processes and you're like, it's water.
Yeah.
And you just assume the best scenario for water and you don't think about anything else.
Yeah. Let's see. Are you someone that snacks a lot when like working?
Yeah, I will be doing work and I'll be like, all right, tea time, and I'll go make myself a cup of tea, grab some Vickies, and then come back and snack on them. Like, I definitely like to snack a lot at work if I can. I need to start bringing more fruit in, so I start eating healthy options.
How do you smash out a report? Snacking, music?
Music, I generally, it's kind of interesting. If I know what I'm writing, music, like, I can just go like dot points, like, yeah, this, and this. If I really need to like figure it out, like break down the pieces, sometimes music can just be too distracting for me because my brain isn't completely happy with what I'm doing. And if it isn't happy with what I'm doing, I'll get distracted by something. Like it'll just be like, oh, this is not fun, let's do something else. And I'm like, no, I've got to lock in on this. So I sometimes take the music out, try and get rid of as many distractions as I can, and then like break up the pieces, and I'll write a sentence, I'll delete it, I'll write it again, and do that about like 15 times until I love it.
I usually, when I'm asking this question, I usually ask, what's one engineering concept that you teach to everyone in the world? But I want to ask, what chemical engineering concept would you teach to everyone in the world?
Like chemical dives in a lot of safety as well, like so safety engineering, and I guess that kind of concept, like just trying to think of the best way to word this. Like the biggest safety issue to sites or like anything is negligence. Biggest safety issue is negligence on site. So if you just don't keep people caring about safety, something bad will happen. As well as like if you don't consider the initial design of something and its safety factors and you try and build something else on it, you just are going to leave yourself to danger. So yeah, just think about the original design of it and how to incorporate your one with safety in mind is the biggest thing. So yeah.
And what's one thing you wish you had more time to do outside of work?
Cooking and cleaning, but just because I don't dedicate enough time to that. Like those are just chores to me. It's not something I wish I was more passionate about. So if I could just have more time to cook and clean instead of doing it at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I would feel like I would do better at life. But I feel like I do at the time. I just don't do it.
Yeah. Okay. Any last minute advice or anything else you'd like to share?
No, I don't know. I'm very much question orientated.
Okay. No, that's okay. Thank you so much for making that time. I really enjoyed that chat, and hopefully you can come again. And when I say that, people think I'm kidding, but I'm not.
It's probably do you want me back or not?
I want you back. That's why I'm asking. I don't ask everyone to come back, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Coming back?
Yeah,
Oh,
if you want me.
I've got it on record.
Yeah, you got me now. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. But yeah, thank you so much for making that time. And until next time, bye.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.